Ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to say that I figured this out, but I think I just figured it out. Now, I have simulated this tons of time, and this will not go into my player. I will go back. I created a separate save file just so that I can continue repeating this over and over and over. Now, as you see, the Cubs are offering me a 1-year contract in the MLB rotation. Really quickly, I'm just going to go ahead and take it exactly as it is, and I'm going to go back to the main menu so you guys see exactly where I was. Now, where I was before I started the simulation was exactly where I was before. We were actually in AAA with like one more series to go, 2 more series to go, and then the playoffs. I simulated that series. I simulated the playoffs. We got swept in the first round, and then that was it. Then came the offseason, and immediately I got an MLB contract. Now, I've already simulated that piece about 10 or 15 times today alone. And I've figured, I think, it's not that I figured it out, but I have a clearer picture. Now, I've said this before, I think what's most important in your player's development is the position that you are playing. Now, let me explain that. Obviously, they made a two-way player this year, something that hasn't been in Road to the Show before. I've seen a lot of people speculating that they think that you have to spend money and this and that. I don't agree with that. I don't think this is the EA, the one. I don't think this is Madden, and I don't think this is 2K My Career. This is completely different, and I don't think you have to spend money. The only time I got called up, every time that I got called up a couple times. The only time I got called up was when I had a pitching archetype. Every time I had my other archetype for position player, center fielder, my average goes down to a 64. That's as high as I can get it. Even with diamond perks, I'm a 64 overall. Every time I did it with this one active, I did not get called up. Why? Because as a pitcher, my ratings are pretty trash. Now, another thing that this kind of, I don't want to say with absolute certainty that it kind of debunks it, but it kind of does. So after you get to 100 program points, that's what I'm going to call them. I don't know if that's exactly what they're called. We're going to call them program points. Once you get 100 program points, you get the next level for that archetype. So for instance, here I have Slugger. When I get 100 program points, I will get a silver reward for my archetype. So after that, it would be the same thing. I'm guessing it would be 100 points to get to gold and then 100 points to get to diamond. So you don't need either gold nor diamond to get called up. I just got called up as a 71 overall starting pitcher who, if you take a look at my program for pitching, it hasn't moved at all. I've got 14 points. It hasn't moved since my first start, and it's been bugged. So clearly, I'm nowhere near silver, gold, or diamond. So you don't need to get to silver, gold, or diamond. But however, since you are a pitcher and you're a pitcher main, you have to be, I want to say, I think you have to be a 70 overall pitcher. Now, on top of that, let me just add this. I simulated my last start and my ERA went up. I'd given up 1 run over 6 or 7 outings. And then the last outing, I think I got a no decision. So I was a dominant pitcher. Obviously, we're playing on a low difficulty when I was pitching, and I was also doing that off camera. So I was having a very good season as a pitcher. So when I say by what your position is, from the beginning of the game, when you're asked what do you want to do, if you want to be a pitching main, who is also a position player, you're a starting pitcher. You're a starting pitcher. Every time you look anywhere, you are a starting pitcher. Now, that's why all of the podcasts, every time they talk about you, they're talking about your pitching. Anytime you get called up, I think it has to do with how you're doing as a pitcher, more so than how you're doing as a position player. If you guys saw the video where I did several simulations, where I did a simulation 30 years into the future, no matter how good I did hitting-wise, I never got called up to the majors. So if you are someone who, if you know for a fact you don't want to be a pitcher, you don't want to pitch every 5th game, you don't want to be a pitcher main, I say as soon as they ask you in Road to the Show what position you want to play, go ahead and change it. If you say, I just want to be a position player, change to a position player. If you say you want to be a position player main who also has some spot appearances, whether it be in relief or whether you actually are a spot starter, like a 6-day starter when somebody needs rest, do that. But if you want to be a position player main, I think the most important thing you need to do is you need to change your position in the beginning. So as you can see, I backed out of the save and went right back into the exact same save file. I'm going to go to view calendar, and this is exactly where I left off previously. I do have the pitcher archetype selected. Loadout is Filthy, which is my pitching one. And then I'm going to view calendar, sim season, and we'll try to just go quickly through all of this. Obviously, I had a great season, pitching-wise and hitting-wise. Congratulations. I don't want to stop simulating. We're playing against the Durham Bulls, and we're 0-2. I probably won't even get an opportunity to pitch. Anyways, we ended up losing. No, I don't want to stop simulating. Astros defeat. Okay, that's cute. Advance to the offseason. Go ahead and clear that. We'll take a look at the retired players. Jake Arrieta. No Hall of Fame. Usually it's Cano and Pujols, depending on, and we'll simulate and we'll view offer. And there it is again. Once again, I am, they're offering me a 1-year contract for the MLB rotation. The Cubs, as you guys saw, I'm a 71 overall starting pitcher. I can go ahead and accept that. And now I'm in the major leagues. Now, once again, I am back in the exact same spot in this save file. I went out and I just went back in without saving. I'm going to go ahead and look at my player. I'm going to change my loadout. I'm going to change it to nukes only, which is slugger with contact 6 and speed 7. So I'm going to change that. I don't want to make a new one. I'm going to change that and I'm going to go to active, and it makes me a 64 overall center fielder. And then now I'm going to go ahead and take a look. I think it might have been player card. Yeah, let's go to player card. Look at my pitching attributes without it. 30 stamina, 31 hits per 9, 35, 44. Really, really bad overall. Now I want to look at it really quickly once again before we move forward. With Filthy on 66, 57 plus 5, 71 plus 9. 51, 57, 36 plus 16, 49, 57 velo, 73 break. So my fastball, which was topping out at 87, is now a 91 mile an hour fastball. So really quickly, once again, let's just give this a shot in the dark. I'm going to go ahead and change my, my ball player. If I can press the right button. So I'm going to change my ball player, change my loadout back from Filthy to nukes only, once again, which is slugger. Makes me a 64 overall center fielder. I don't even know what that makes me as a starting pitcher, but I just backed out. And on the first try, let's go ahead and click view calendar. And I'm going to sim season. Gonna get the exact same podcast. Jenny Finch, what to do? And we got the Durham Bulls once again. I don't want to stop simulating. We get the same pep top times 2. We split the first 2 games. We got a game 5. Winner goes on, loser goes home. We end up actually win that, so we have to play against Scranton. So we'll get some more. I still haven't pitched in the playoffs, even though I have a pitching archetype on. No, I don't want to stop simulating. Game 5. One more game. And we win it. So hold on. We end up losing. It's a 1-game playoff? Okay, we end up losing that. Doesn't really matter. We'll advance to the offseason. Clear this. View retired players. Jake Arrieta, J.A. Happ. No one inducted this time. And here we go. We're going to go ahead and sim offseason, view offers, AAA rotation. I'm once again in AAA. As soon as I changed it back and I went back under that 70, I don't know if it's 70 overall. I don't know exactly what it is. But once I went back and I made myself used a position player archetype, I'm starting the season in AAA. Why? Because I have a center fielder archetype active instead of a starting pitcher active, and I think it's an overall threshold. It does not have to do with it being silver or gold, because all of my archetypes are still bronze. So now I'm gonna do one more thing now that we did that. Let's say I sign this, and I'm just gonna do it one time. I'm gonna go ahead and sign AAA rotation once again, and I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna change it now. Now I've already kind of done this. When I did this and I jumped into the simulation, plus the one I did 30 years, it makes a little bit more sense now. I had the wrong loadout. I had the nukes only loadout instead of Filthy. I'm going to change it to Filthy. And when I did it with nukes only and I simulated, started the season with a 15 ERA every single time. So I'm going to try again now. I'm going to go into view calendar. As you can see, when you look at the top, what it shows you is your pitching numbers. You're a pitcher. That's why. That's what this two-way archetype is. You're a pitcher main. This game considers you a pitcher main, and that's what Road to the Show is kind of looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and simulate spring training. Obviously, I'm in AAA, so I didn't even make it. I didn't even get a call to spring training. We'll advance the regular season. We'll go into AAA, and I'm going to see if at any point during this simulation, I got a call into my manager's office saying, hey, you're progressing. Actually, what I'm most curious about is not seeing a 15 ERA. I don't want to see a 15 ERA, even if it's somewhat a little bit better, like 5, 6. I want to see that more than anything. And Ben Gelman, I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna need you to chill a little bit. So I might, since I know he's gonna be popping up a lot, I'm gonna catch up back with you guys after Ben Gelman stops. Leave me alone, Ben. Ladies and gentlemen, it did not take long at all. It did not take long at all. I'm in April. I'm 1 month into the season. You may be ready to help the MLB club, but it would be mean setting the two-way player thing aside until your batting and position skill improves some. Ladies and gentlemen, when you're a position main, they want you to be a pitcher. I'll be a pitcher only for now. I want to be called to the show as soon as possible. I prefer to continue at this level until I'm ready. So I went ahead. Listen, that's what it is. You are a starting pitcher. I know this is a two-way player, but when you load into Road to the Show, it initially makes you a starting pitcher main with position player secondary. And when you're first asked if you don't change that, your pitching is the most important thing. So I'm going to go ahead and say I'll be a pitcher only for now. I want to be called to the show as soon as possible. And that's what the organization decided. That's where they want us. That's where they need us. So Ben Gelman, you're going to see me in the bigs now. All right, so I was a little bit ahead of the gun. I'm going to go ahead and say this. That first conversation with coach, they wanted me a couple more starts in the minor league. I pitched twice. I pitched 2 times, and then I got called up to the major league. Simulated them. I pitched twice. My ERA is like near 4. It's not crazy. It's not like a 0.1. My attributes have not gone much at all, but I just got called up. That's all it took. It did not take very long. I'm in year 2 in April, and I am in the major league. So it is possible to get done. The only thing is you kind of have to have the right position. You have to have the right archetype. I think that's all it is. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. I got called up May of 2022. If I'm being honest, I don't think there's any, I feel like you have to play 1 full season in the minors. As many times as I've done this simulation over and over and over, I think you have to play 1 season in the minors, and I don't think you get called up past AAA in season 1. But I think the most important thing is you have to decide right off the bat in the beginning of Road to the Show, do I want to be a two-way player? Which side do I want to have, emphasize on? Or do I just want to be a position player or starting pitcher? As you can see, I did it multiple times. I did it like 10 times where I changed the load. I had the loadout at Filthy, for the Filthy archetype. I had the loadout at Filthy, and I simulated it the end of the season over and over. Obviously, I was already into the season. I was already batting .450 with a ton of home runs, and I had an ERA sub 1. But I did it over and over and over. And every time I did it with Filthy, I got called up as soon as my first season was over in AAA. Now, every time I did it with Nukes only with the wrong archetype, the season ended and I was back down to AAA. And then after the season ended and the new season started, I changed it back to Filthy, and I got called up like 2 weeks later. Why? I think it has a lot to do with my stats. Obviously, if they're looking at you as a position player and they come in and they see these stats, you have a chance of getting called up. But when you come in when they're looking at you as a pitching prospect, and now they see these stats instead, you're not going to get called up. And really quickly, let me take a look at my attributes. When they take a look at these attributes, it's going to be a little harder for them to call you up, especially since my fastball's at 86. Now, don't mind the thumbnail and title to this video. I've used the same title and thumbnail 3 years in a row for this exact video, except this time it was actually a lot different than years past in Road to the Show. Main reason why, obviously, we have a new archetype system. We have new perks and a whole bunch of cool different stuff, which got rid of the old perk system with the four Maverick, Heart and Soul, Captain, and Lightning. I think those were the 4. So it got rid of that and it added a different system. Now, again, I'm going to say I don't agree. I read some comments, not just on my videos, some people talking on Twitter as well. Everyone thinking that they don't like this new system, that MLB changed it and it's integrated it too much to Diamond Dynasty and the way my career and my park are in 2K or whatever that game is called nowadays. I don't agree with that. I think it's just a different system because of the fact that you're a two-way player. Other than that, it's kind of the same. You kind of always needed to get to a certain overall and have certain statistics for you to get called up. The better your overall, the better your statistics, the faster you get called up. The only difference is now you're being looked at as a starting pitcher main, and your position players kind of your secondary, because that is what you selected when you jumped into Road to the Show. If you pick pitcher only, you don't have to worry about that because you're not changing your loadouts at any point. You're probably using the same loadout every time you pitch. When you're a position player, you're probably using the same position player loadout every time you pitch. Now, the one problem with this at the moment is obviously that it is bugged. And I hope there's a fix coming for that soon. I assume there will be. Today is release date when I'm recording this video. Today's the 20th. And there hasn't been a patch yet. And I'm hoping there's either a patch or some sort of hot fix. I'm assuming it'll probably take a patch and more than a hot fix to fix this. But I'm still at 14. I obviously, every time I pitch in between games, when it asks me, I say I want to switch to my filthy loadout from my nukes only, which that's how it should work. That's how it should work. I should be able to just jump into in between games and not have to back out, not have to come into this menu and switch it, which even that is not even working. I should be able to just switch my loadout when it says, hey, this next game you're coming in to pitch, and it should be tracking all my attributes, and it's clearly not because I've only got 6 innings pitched, and I got 6 strikeouts, so I'm not getting credited for any of this, and I'm stuck at 14 program points out of 100, so at this rate, I would never be able to get to silver gold, and if that were the way to get called up to the majors, I would never get called up. So I think, I'm not saying we can put it to bed, but I think this lets us know, it definitely lets us know, though, you can get called up without having your archetype at silver, gold, or diamond. However, you're gonna want to have, if you're a starting pitcher and you're being looked at as a starting pitcher, and I think the way one of the ways you can take a look at that, if you don't remember what you did, if you go into view calendar, if it shows your win-loss in the top left, I think you're a pitcher main. That's what I think. If it doesn't show your batting stuff in the top left, where it's under Zach Davies, where it says Gyvi World, if it doesn't show your batting stuff, I think you're a pitcher main. I think your team is looking at you as a pitcher. Not only that, every time you have a podcast, they'll be talking about your positional play instead of your pitching. They only talk about me pitching. That's all they talk about is me pitching and being a two-way player who pitches. Hey, but anyways, that's going to be it for this video. Hope you guys did enjoy. Let me know down below if you guys agree with me or disagree with me, or let me know if you guys have done your own simulations and have figured things out a little bit differently. I'm actually kind of curious. I might save this as a separate save file here. I might keep myself in the majors as a pitcher and then keep my archetype at nukes only, and then simulate and see what happens. I feel like I probably would get sent back down because I'd only be pitching and I'd be getting shelled repeatedly. So let me know if you guys have simulated. Let me know if any of you guys have already hit the majors and have experienced something similar to what I did. But other than that, that's going to be it for this video. Hope you guys did enjoy it as always. If you did, make sure you hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace!